You're watching NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey with a Mailbag, answering all of your questions here on Chat Sports via Super Chat or using hashtag NFL in the comments. Our first question has no name and no team attached to it. What do you think of maybe signing Cordarelle Patterson? Okay, so I don't know but what team. If you want a hybrid rotation back, Patterson's a good guy. I don't think he can be a full-time back. Limited tear, older in terms of his age, or limited wear and tear, older in his age. If you want a special teams guy that helps you on third downs, base downs, can be a rotation back, yes. And I think there are plenty of teams that fit that mold in the end. From Jameer CP, the Jets should call the Saints about some of their players. Sure. I think the Jets are still probably in more of a draft your guys status as opposed to trading for guys. But, if Marshawn Lattimore is available, you'd be dumb not to call. I doubt that he is. You should call. I don't know how likely a trade ends up being in the end. From Niners SZN, what could the Niners get for Jimmy G? I think your minimum is a second-round pick. Look what Sam Darnold went for. We went for a second and change, and Darnold sucks. So I would at least expect a second-round pick. Now, if you are getting a back end of round one pick or round one value, like a second-round pick and some change, I think that's plausible too. If you're a team like Pittsburgh, New Orleans, Tampa, I'd be asking for the first-rounder. Those guys are drafting backish end of round one. So maybe you send a pick back to him if you get the first-rounder. I think late first, early second value is what you should expect for Jimmy G. Seemingly unconnected sus. There we go. Why are the Bengals underdogs when they beat the Chiefs twice this month? Chiefs are better than the Rams. Are they better than the Rams? I'm not really sure that they are. There's some home field boost at some level. But I think that the Rams overall were viewed as the better team entering the postseason, and that hasn't really changed at this point. From Alexander May, who could draft a QB like Matt Corral in round one? A lot of different teams. Corral was a tough eval. Accurate, quick release, good arm, solid athlete. The offense at Ole Miss was a lot of play action, a lot of RPOs, a lot of screens, a lot of one-read stuff. When he gets beyond the first read, it wasn't very good. So that makes him a tricky eval. If you're going to go round one, Minnesota probably makes some sense. Pittsburgh's in there. New Orleans. Maybe a team like Atlanta or Denver. Probably not round one for Atlanta. Maybe more round two. Maybe something similar for Denver. I think the team that might make the most sense for him, by the way, I could see Washington really liking what Matt Corral does and how he could fit for their team. Who do you think is the best QB in this year's NFL draft? I'm going to make this question the pinned comment on today's video. So, if you get hit with the ad break on YouTube, head down there and let me know. Top QB in this year's class. ADB, Cordarelle Patterson to the Cowboys. There we go. For Dallas specifically, I don't think it makes sense. How are you going to play Patterson, Zeke, and Pollard? Patterson and Pollard could be a fun duo. They do some similar things well. But both of them, with Zeke, you can't get all those guys on the field. Unless he's cheap, I don't think it makes sense. Shout out Slick Niner, $2. Thank you, my friend. And then from Campbell GL, what type of offense will Chicago run with Luke Getsy? I would anticipate them sticking with that Shanahan-LaFleur style of offense. That's what Getsy has mostly grown up in. He was briefly with Dan Mullen. It was Joe Moorhead, 2018. Spent some time in the Mike McCarthy offenses as well. I do think you'll see more of that LaFleur, Shanahan style of you're going to run the football a good amount and hit vertical shots downfield off of play action. That would be my suspicion on offense. Getsy will add his own flair. He's been around guys like Mike McCarthy and others. He'll add some fun elements, but I think you'll see a wide zone run scheme with a lot of play action off of it. Jameer CP, the MVP of today's show with all these super chats. Who is the Bucs' next QB? A lot of Tampa's going to go trade for this guy and that guy. They spent a second-round pick on Kyle Trask. I would assume he's the next man up. Maybe I'm wrong. That wouldn't be the first time, certainly. But I would bet on Kyle Trask being the next Bucs starting QB. Whether he's good or not, we'll see how that all goes down. Deal alert for you guys. NFL hoodies. 30% off at chatsports.com/NFL hoodie. Tons of different styles and colors, and for all 32 NFL teams. So if you haven't already, go check out Fanatics' deals on the hoodies. We'll put the link in the comments section and in the description. It's chatsports.com/NFL hoodie. From Matt Solomon, who do you think will be the Raiders' backup QB? Good question. You're probably going to hire a Josh McDaniels guy. I do think Jacoby Brissett could make some sense if you want to go veteran name. Maybe they draft somebody. Maybe they spend like a round 4 pick on a Bailey Zappi or something and see if you can groom him. That was the Patriots' mantra for a while. A veteran, maybe like a Brian Hoyer, could also make some sense. Winter Skull 69. Will Miami trade Parker in a second for Ridley and take the best offense lineman available at number 29? Good question. Parker in a second is actually probably a pretty good offer for Atlanta. So, sure, let's say it's not. That's a pretty good value there. Best O-line, that's what I do. Could be a guard, could be a tackle. Get some help. That offensive line, they need more guys up front. From One Nation Underground, got a little, I think it's a Houday can of beer, which, if that is the Houday can of beer, I think my dad's got one of those as well. Who should the Bengals pick up in free agency? Good question. Depends on what happens with your own free agents. I think you're probably looking at offensive line help. Again, very common there. You probably want to keep Jesse Bates. Tight ends an area of need, and probably some defensive line and or corner help with some of your top guys being free agents this year. From Jameer CP, what team should pick up Leonard Fournette? I actually think that, I wonder if Fournette, in that wide zone offense, if you run single back, I wonder if he could be really good in Miami. I might be reaching there, but they certainly need a back help. So why not the Miami Dolphins for Fournette? Seattle's been linked before. That's certainly a good name as well. From Boston Rob, wow, what a reference. Should teams like the Giants, Titans, and Jets draft tight ends early? Probably. The Titans have nothing really there at the tight end spot. The Jets are in a bit of a similar boat. The Giants, meanwhile, Evan Ingram's a free agent. Kyle Rudolph's pretty meh. So if you take those guys in that round 2 range or round 1 for Tennessee, maybe round 3, there'll be some guys there. Trey McBride from Colorado State. Jalen Weidermeyer from A&M. Isaiah Likely from Coastal Carolina. Not ranked, by the way. Jeremy Ruckert can block very well. Wasn't used as a passer. Cade Otton, one of my guys from Washington. So, look, I think, yes, those teams should take a tight end. Overall, a pretty good draft class this year at the tight end position. Do you like the NFL draft? Type in Y for yes you do, or type in W for no, you're weird, which is kind of a, I don't know why you wouldn't like it. Let me know in the comments. Y for yes, W for I'm weird. If you're typing in yes, by the way, make sure you guys are subscribed to us here at Chat Sports. We've got draft videos all the time, plus trades, free agency, news, rumors, and more. Hit that big red button and subscribe right now. From Ethan, will we see Jordan Love next year on the field of the Packers or someone else? That's a great question. At this point, I think you just got to play Love unless Rodgers stays. If he stays, probably hold on to him because you spent the first-round pick. He's done nothing to prove he's worth it because he hasn't played. It's a weird spot for Green Bay. They shouldn't have drafted Jordan Love, plain and simple. From E, what do you think about the Panthers QB situation, and do you think they will draft a QB? It's in a bad spot. They don't have a franchise guy. and they invested in him like he was a franchise guy. The QBs at 6, you're going to be reaching, and you're banking your head coach's career, Matt Rule, on a rookie QB, and that doesn't often go very well. So they're in a rough spot. I would say they go all in on a trade as best as they could for a Deshaun Watson, a Wilson, a Rodgers, somebody. They got to get a veteran in there who's better than Sam Darnold. Michael Picantore, can you see Dallas trading Amari for Ridley straight up? I don't think so. You got to pay Calvin Ridley sooner. And by the way, Amari Cooper is not that much older than Calvin Ridley. Body-wise, probably a little bit older, but you're just not – you're setting yourself with the same issue with the cap in terms of you don't want to pay Amari. You got to pay Ridley just as much, if not more, which is not a good route to go about it as far as I'm concerned. From John Gruds, should the Ravens throw – or Gruds, thank you. I could see it being Gruds. Should the Ravens throw money at Von Miller or Jadeveon Clowney? Sure, probably maybe one of them. You've got Odafe Owe. You got some injuries along that edge rushing group. Justin Houston's a free agent. Pernell McPhee's not very good. Jalen Ferguson's a bust. I'm trying to look at the other guy's name. The good one. Is he healthy after getting hurt late in the year? Von Miller would be a nice addition for you. It's a weird situation if you want to invest big at edge rusher. Because if you're the Ravens, Odafe Owe is one of your guys. You sign Von Miller or Clowney, and you feel good short term, but you've also got Tyus Bowser on your roster. So is he now your third edge rusher? If he's hurt, okay, sure. But maybe for the Ravens, it's not the most reasonable investment. You might be better served throwing money on a true defense lineman with some big free agents potentially leaving this offseason. Speaking of free agents, I want you guys to name a free agent who you want your team to sign. Who is it? Let me know in the comments section. From Michael Ayers, do you think Kyler Murray will be traded? So for those of you that don't know, Kyler Murray, at the beginning of this week, made note of, hey, his social media was scrubbed, which is super weird. It leads to all of the rumors, right? I don't think he gets dealt, but we'll see. It's certainly a possibility, far more than what it was even a day ago or at the beginning of the week, so probably not, but at least have to have the conversation now at this point. From Jameer CP, another super chat. Best fit for Tyrann Mathieu if he leaves Kansas City? Good question. I would love to see the Dallas Cowboys, but they don't invest big at the safety position. Honestly, Baltimore Ravens, I think, could be a decent fit for them. Other teams that need a safety, as I look at my needs list here, San Francisco, that'd be a fun fit for them. Philadelphia could work. I think the Jets, they want to spend it, would be a great addition as well. I think those are some of the teams. I look at the rest of my list. Obviously just re-signing with KC makes sense too. Houston would never, but they could use him. But that's, of course, that bridge is, I think, more or less burnt at this point. So I think a team like, honestly, I think the Niners would be a great fit for Tyrann Mathieu in particular.